consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa. Good, 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 good. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. It's because, we were still on our way to get here back to the studio. And I just want to thank everyone that is joining us tonight on this opening day where we start getting back in touch with our diaspora that relocated, those that have been traveling and making incredible experiences out there. When we talk of building the Africa we want or connecting back to our roots, how easy or how difficult it is. Sometimes it's easy said than done. So we have Amankwah, who is here. I used to call her Queen Kana, and I think I would have to repeat that a couple of times on the show for people to tie the knots together to know right now how did she transit from this to this. I still wrote her up till today. We were still talking about, hey, Queen Kwana, how are you? And she's like, oh no, I go by Ama. That's cool. Yeah. So I want to thank all of you that are joining. If you're joining us on the Pan African Daily TV, this is your host, Efwa Eni Tata. Yeah. And in the studio with me, joining me all the way from Accra, Ghana, is Ama. Ama is originally born of a descendant in Ohio City. And then somehow, I don't know, like you see on the topic, found herself in the United Emirates, Arab Emirates, or something like that. How they call it? She's gonna even how to pronounce this these names and the countries. And then, but now she's joining us from Accra, Ghana, where she is settling. And we want to get to begin to know, because like I said yesterday, we had a lot of feedbacks of the diasporans now, particularly African Americans, that are already complaining, whatever the case is. So we want to find out what the problem is, how their challenges are, what is the solution. As you know, we are here on the Pan African Daily TV, solutions and adaptable, practical solutions by Africans for Africa, for the development of Africans worldwide. Wow. So, yes, we want to find out where this issue is coming from. And so we'll be talking to a lot of diasporans that are expatriated or settled back in the different countries on the continent, and what is their experience. A lot when they engage in business. Some, like we heard from Elder Edley yesterday, saying a lot of them are also now in the communities trying to build schools, create curriculums, and all that. But then we also have some that got into what our program or one of our projects is all about: love and family. Get into marriage. So we want to find out what is backgrounds. We had Sister Dasita. I'm just introducing the show. I'm waiting for all of you to connect and join us. And before we get into the conversation proper, because I get a lot of feedback sometimes. Oh, Dr. Susan, before we log in, you're already in the middle and people are joining and like, what is going on? Who is that? What are we talking about? So yes, I always give you 2-3 minutes or something like that, seconds, depending on on the day and the time and the mood and the space and the guest and the importance of the conversation, so that we can all settle down in the family and we start holding this conversation. So, like I said, today we're going to be talking about, the whole of this week. As a matter of fact, we want to touch base with the diaspora, get a feedback, so that when we sit here and crack our mouth and tell the diaspora, hey, we are waiting, we are open arms, we are the best people that you can think, we're your family, we are accommodating. Is it the same thing that when they relocate on the continent, they get this feeling that we are telling them? Or how does it happen? Or in some cases, we have seen that even the locals, we mean us on the continent, we even tend to show some kind of respect and honor and humility, and treat Chinese or other nationals that are not African nationals in regard or as compared to our own descendants, particularly when they're descendants, you know. So we need to start preparing ourselves while we are connecting and uniting and going back to our roots. But we also have to start fixing the problem of integration on the continent. We have to do a lot of cross-cultural trainings coming from all these backgrounds, going back, even though it's your root. There's a shock in the culture. There's a lot of disappointment. But of course, there are people that are saying, hey, no, I'm good to go. I'm fine. Even though it's like this, that's who I am. That's my people. And I go with it. But not everybody is strong. So we want to here we are empowering the voiceless, the marginalized, the weak, those that are still struggling to even understand where they come from. So the stronger people, we learn from their experiences and their challenges, and we pave a way on to the conversation. So I think it's 7 minutes now. Very long introduction, I must say that. But of course, because we'll be spending a whole 2 hours or even more or less, depending on how the network is going to cooperate with us. And so, Ama is going to be telling us all of the things, and we're just going to pull back and listen and enjoy and learn. So, Ama, welcome to the Pan African Daily TV. I mean, first thing I would just ask you, sister, what happened with your names?
Oh, I'm Saturday born, so I'm called Ama. But you feel free. You can call me Queen Kwana, no problem.
No. If I just do that, you know who was here last night? Elder Robert was here, and he's also officially now Nkosi. Elder Nkosi was here last night, and he warned us and pull our ears, right? And he said
Yes.
he doesn't want to ever hear that because name is power. Now, a lot of people asking me, yeah, Dr. Susan, why is he keeping Susan? But the only reason why you're still seeing Susan on my name and my template is because Professor James Small told me your name, Susan, was a Hebrew original name, the Bantu name that was also stolen, just like they stole everything. So I mean, we'll get into the topic of names, and changing, because he wants us be careful. Maybe you were instead even taking something that was stolen from you, like they took everything, remodernized it, and sold it back. So why do we also think not even our names are tampered with? So yes, back to you on this question. Tell us, how are you feeling? Where are you now? What happened? Born in Ohio to the United Emirates, and then now in Ghana. Over to you, my queen.
Yes. So I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm the oldest of three girls. And I've done a lot of traveling throughout my life, and the UAE was just a natural transition for me because it was something new, something different. I've worked in the healthcare field for quite a few years, and I was able to get a contract to work at a hospital there in the United Arab Emirates. So that's exactly how I ended up from the United States to the United Arab Emirates and now in Ghana. And I think that what actually propelled me to take that plunge and come to Ghana is because there was a call on me. There was a pull for me to come here, to come to the continent. But I think what propelled it was the COVID epidemic that took place. Because during that time, at the height of that pandemic, I was working in the hospital, and at that point, I knew I couldn't lead that life anymore, and that was no longer my true calling. So then that's how I ended up here in Ghana. And I have been traveling to Ghana since 2008. But when you come here and you repatriate and you're here full time and you're immersed in the culture, It's very, very different from coming on vacation or staying for a month or staying for a couple of weeks.
Mm.
So yeah, it's totally different.
So you want to tell me that, I mean, what I'm trying to get at 2018 and the other times when they would dance for you at the airport and they would show you all the but now that you're really there, you don't get to see that that every day. So where is the point that you started beginning to feel now I'm home?
Wow. Um, I'm not quite sure I've started to feel that just yet because there's a lot of work to be done
Mm,
to even settle in to the culture, the tradition, to get used to the the climate, to get used to the food, um, the traffic, the navigating your way around the city and the different regions within the country. So I don't know if I have that feeling of home just yet, but it's getting there. I'm getting there.
mhm, mhm, mhm. It's very, very interesting from the way you're putting it. Even me, born and raised on the continent, to be honest with
Yes.
you, I have difficulties when I go back just to walk across the road. I'm so scared of the traffic, of this, we call it bensikin, the motorbikes and stuff like that. It's like something else. But I grew up in that. I used to go along with that. So where do you think this kind of a drastic change comes from?
Um, I think the change comes into play when you step foot back onto the continent
Mm,
and you can feel and hear the the mood of the country.
mm,
So I think it's something that you don't experience abroad. It's a totally different feeling. It's a totally different vibration that you
mm,
feel when you're here on the continent. So, and where does it come from? I mean, I can't say where it comes from. Um, it's just in us as a people and who we are. I mean,
mm,
it's not anything like any experience that I've had traveling to other countries or other continents. Um, Africa is unique. It's unique in its people. It's unique in the vibration. It's unique in the essence of the people who are here. But going back to when you were talking about when you come to visit and when you come to live, it's a huge transition. It's very, very different. And a lot of times we come with baggage. We come with expectations of things being similar to, or well, it's not done like this where I come from, or it is done like this where I come from, or you feel as if maybe the way it's done in the country that you're coming from is more superior than what it is in the country where you're at, and
mm,
that's not necessarily true. And sometimes you really, not sometimes, every day you have to change that mindset when you're here in Ghana,
mm,
because where the way it's done back home, it's not done like that here. And so you just have to make the adjustment, and you have to really keep your eyes and ears open to receive information, because a lot of times we want to think that we have all the answers, but in essence we don't have all the answers, and it's a learning experience, it's a learning curve, and we have to be open to learn and experience something different from where we came from. And I think that has been the biggest challenge since I've been here, is just being open to receive a different way of functioning, a different way of getting to the same results, just a different way of getting there.
this sounds more spiritual. it stands really more spiritual in the way you put it, and I think that's the way we are saying it. And to all our viewers, we are redefining this culture and what we call on the Pan African Daily TV the D culture. The D culture stands for decolonization and detoxing, right? And that's why you see
Yeah.
even all our projects is all about Pan African Daily TV. You're also going to see the daily news that we're coming up also with. We have the daily love and family programs. We have the D research, the D everything, even the D language, the D food culture. So it's a kind of a new lifestyle redefining, because we're coming, like you said, with these baggages and carrying a lot of toxic. I'm not saying toxic in a negative way, but
Right.
so this transformation, like what you're, it's a whole detox process. So you have to get used to it. Now, a lot of people don't get to go through that process and survive. Do you want to agree with that?
Yeah, I would have to agree with it because I did a lot of preparation before I came here.
Mm,
Not only physical preparation or financial preparation, but spiritual preparation as well. Because we, as a people, as a diasporan, and especially an African American diasporan, we're always seeking out some type of connection. We're looking for some type of connection, be it a physical connection, a spiritual connection.
mm,
And the, the indigenous people that are from the continent, that connection, they already have it.
mm.
But us as a people, we were disconnected a long time ago. So we're
Gosh.
always seeking, looking, and yearning for that connection.
Mm,
And when we come here, we're looking to plug in. We're looking to plug in spiritually. We're looking to plug in physically. We're looking to plug into nature. We're looking to plug into the people. We're looking to plug into the customs and the tradition. So we're always, I feel like we're always vulnerable as well
mm.
because we're looking for that connection. We're yearning for it so much that we have a tendency to be naive to a lot of things.
I truly think this is also one of the challenges that nobody's talking about. I mean, we're into a resetting, and we see the systems, everything that is happening in this COVID transitional period is a reset, of course, adjusting to the times. And so it's Africa should not be the same, just thinking that it's all about, the way life used to be. So it has to be a reset also. And I think one of the challenges that we have, how do we integrate our disconnected? We have not even started talking about that. So you will hear issues like land, oh, I went to Ghana and I was robbed, or the Ghanaians saying, oh, the African Americans or the diaspora is coming here and they want to bring this and this and this. Of course, we have to be prepared to know that we're going to get this clash, that we're going to get this shock, that we're going to get this disappointment. But our main initiative should be the preparation of the mind, isn't it? Of the spirit, body, and soul.
Yeah, I would have to agree. But then again, how do you know how to prepare? How
Yes.
do you know how to prepare your mind?
Mm,
Because you don't know until you get here. You
correct.
can do all the preparation that you want to in the world, but once you get here, once you're on the ground, it's a whole different battle. It's a whole different cup of tea, if I should put it that way. Um, when I came, I thought I did everything correct. I thought I dotted all my I's, crossed all my T's, put everything in place. I planned well ahead, 2 to 3 years ahead for the transition. I was in prayer. I thought I covered myself and protected myself spiritually. But then when I got on the ground, it's something like you've never experienced before in your life. The challenges against the things that you face on a daily basis, hey, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. And nothing can prepare you for that until you're actually here. The culture shock is real. It ain't nothing to play with. The culture. So, and I mean, and it's a day to day, from the language barrier, to some of just the little inconsistencies that you run into each day, just from sometimes our own facial expressions or intonation in the way that we talk as Americans can come off some type of way to a local Ghanaian, and vice versa, the same thing. So, all of these things that, how do you prepare for that? How do you prepare for when you go to the market and you don't know the language, and as soon as you open up your mouth, the price is either going to double or triple. And that's in everything that you do, not just the market, but if you're taking public transportation, if you even go to buy land, anything, the price is different. It's double standards for us. How do you prepare for that? What do you do? I think a lot of people were attracted to the country because of the year of return, but nobody prepared us for the time beyond the year of return. What do
Mm,
you do once you come here and you've answered that call and you've planted your feet on the ground? What do you do beyond that? What has been put in place to help that transition?
mm,
So these are some of the that you ask once you're here. I was on a platform today. Someone was just talking about the difficulty that they were having looking for a place to rent. Come see what you have to go through. You get an agent. The agent takes you. If you go with the agent, you have to pay them for that day. Each property that they take you to, you have to pay them for the transportation. So they sometimes take you to two or three different places that you can't live in. There's no way that you could live there. But that means you still have to give the person some money at the end of the day for taking you around. And so then when they come back the next day, they take you around again. How many times are they going to take you to places where you can't live? Maybe 2 or 3 days. And then the fourth day, they finally take you to a place that, it fits your standards. But in the meantime, what have they gotten? They've gotten paid. They've gotten paid for 3 days of doing something that, did it help anyone? No, it didn't help anyone. They could have showed you something that could have helped you on the first day. But that's Ghana. That's how it is. That's how they make their money. And it's unfortunate. And it makes it very difficult for us, because some of those things, like having a place to live, is important. You have to have some place to live when you come here. So, and just something simple as that, it becomes a huge challenge. So these little things that you you come into contact with on a regular basis, yeah, it's a challenge. And there's no safety nets in
go
there's
ahead.
no safety net in place at all.
Hello.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. We're listening.
Yeah, so I'm saying there's no safety nets in place. Whereas when you come from the Western culture, we have systems, we have processes, and we have safety nets that are in place. There's accountability. But here, when you're going through the system, there's no accountability, there's no safety nets. You're on your own. So those are some of the other challenges as well. Um, I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Okay. I get you. I get you. For all of you that are listening and watching, I know a lot of people are really just eager to go on the continent. I don't want you to take it as if, oh, wow, is that the reality? I'm not going out there. No, you need to go. Because
Mhm.
all these processes that Amma is telling you is exactly your rebirth into being yourself. Imagine we've been taught in a culture that they took away fear from you and told you they gave you safety and security. We've been taught in a culture that they take away everything from you of being you and then they put facilitations. And so that's the reason why we don't grow, we remain babies. When you go back to motherland, like we say, it's just like you left your mother or somebody stole you away from your mother for long, and you go back to mother. You have to go through some processes to even understand and know him. I know it is hard, but once you've gone through these processes and you fit into it, you will never ever, because that's the beginning of your freedom. It is
Right.
because we've been so spoiled by the system that thought that they had good intention for us, take away your power to decide, take away even your know-how to debate prices. You talked about the market space. I think you would have to expatiate. Most of us that are watching are migrants or also that have continental experience, but you like talking to somebody that has never been there, because I spent almost 3 years explaining just the price policy at the marketplace in Africa.
Mhm.
On events that I was doing, seminars and my research work all through here in Germany. I spent 3 years just to, and even when I put the platforms like the festivals and the German Sukkah, it's crazy to know that you can start a price that is put at $50. You can end up buying it even at 10, or you can buy it at 200. So,
Ye-
that kind of communication and thinking brings
mhm.
you back into your real self to negotiate, to build relationship, to connect. But it's a hard process. Did you ever go through that?
Yes. I When you go to the market or when you go to purchase or do anything in Ghana, they expect you to haggle. They expect you to go back and forth. And that was something I wasn't used to. Okay, so you give me the price, that's the price. If I don't like it, then I leave and I go somewhere else. I
Yes.
didn't know that it was supposed to be this back and forth. Okay, no. So what do you want? How much do you want to pay? And for
Mm.
me, it's like, no, you're supposed to give me your best price the first time around. Oh no, I'm thinking to myself, this person, they're trying to cheat me. No, they're not trying to cheat you. This is the culture. This is what they do. This is familiar for them. You go back and forth, then you bring the price down. And everyone laughs in that process. And then once it's over with, they make their sell and you walk away with your goods. But something that I wanted to say is that before I was coming here, I used to look at a lot of YouTube videos, and it has a tendency to paint this picture of this paradise here in Africa.
Thank
Not
you.
to say that but there's some hardcore lessons that you learn when you come here, and just to prepare you for that, just some things that may prepare you for that, because like I said, there's really nothing that can prepare you for once you land your feet here on the ground. But be in contact with people who are here, people who have relocated here. Talk to them,
Mm.
exchange ideas with them, ask them what was the difficulties, what were the challenges, how did you overcome them, what
Mm.
did you do to overcome them. A lot of these the people who've come here who've started businesses and they've relocated here from the UK or from the US or something like that, those are your resources. Those are your people who are here to help you see things clearly. So plug into those people, get to know them, um, uh, get to experience life with them, because they can be very helpful for your transition. Um, don't isolate yourself. When I first came here, my love for Ghana was in Kumasi. I enjoyed Kumasi because I didn't like the hustle and bustle of Accra. It was too crowded. Um, so I went to Kumasi. But what I found myself in Kumasi is I was away from a lot of other expatriates, expats that come to the, and you need that socialization. You need that like-minded socialization with people who repatriated to the country. So I would recommend you stay around those groups, because it will help you with your transition here here in the country.
Absolutely, my queen. But yes, these are some things that, for instance, you go on the continent and you have to first of all relocate those people, and they even get to know them. Like we say, okay, and that's the problem. That's the problem. We are trying to change narratives, but we definitely, if we are not in a call or in a spiritual work like what we're doing, and you just want to produce some content and send out there, there's a lot of misinformation. And that's why it's very important, like what you're saying, where you just watch the videos, the reality on the ground. And I don't want, we started this program because we say we don't want that kind of a cultural shock. That's the worst thing that we can do to our people. Even the AU or everybody standing up to say, oh, why are they not calling our people? Why are they not bringing them back? Fine, good. But how do we prepare the process? I'm very happy that we on the Africa We Want Global organization, the one that we're about to launch, is taking very this kind of things into consideration to say, Kwana, Ama, if you are there, we have an office, global secretariat in Ghana. Can we put one in Kumasi where it is only to prepare the incoming? Those structures doesn't exist on the continent. When we come in the diaspora, like a migrant, you go through an integration process. They teach you about everything. If you have to go in the market, we have to unlearn. Yes, we would have to do the practicals. But imagine a facilitator would have facilitated this process by you giving you theory, and then they take you into the practicals. Okay, we go to the market. This is what we
Right.
do. You learn it in the theory and you go, you actually do it. These are the kind of structures that we're talking about. We're not talking about building roads, but just simple things to build our unity and to fortify us. We have to put this infrastructure. Now, you talked about the price. I had a conversation with you. How was your encounter when you know spirituality and when you had to leave spirituality in the way it is presented? Tell us more.
If I'm understanding your question correctly, you're asking about preparing yourself spiritually before coming to the continent, correct? What is that?
Yes, but you had an encounter with the so-called spiritual people of Africa, church, religion, this and that. What was your shock about that?
Well, I noticed that when I came to, I've been coming to Ghana since 2008, but I
Uh,
think um, things have changed in reference to religion, churches, pastors, etc.
mm,
So I'm finding that um, the pastors or the churches, I don't want to be offensive to anyone, but they're doing the people a huge disservice, because I think more so the focus is being put on it being a business. I don't think it's a spiritual center per se. And when I first came here, I started a business, and that business was building sustainable houses. And I was looking to do this business back in 2017, and I partnered with someone here on the continent once I got here, and that person happens to be a pastor of a very prominent church here in Ghana.
mm,
And rather unfortunately, because of the way things are structured here in Ghana, when you go into a business partnership, the majority of the ownership belongs to the indigenous person. It belongs to the Ghanaian. And that's
mm,
because if you don't come with $500,000 US dollars or more, the greater percentage of the company is owned by the Ghanaian.
mhm,
And we started this company together, but rather unfortunately, it didn't end up that way.
mm,
One day, I log into my account, into my email account, and into the YouTube account, and I had been
mm,
blocked. I had been completely blocked out. And at that point, it just began to go downhill from there. And once the ownership of the company was taken out of my hands by this particular quote unquote pastor,
Mm,
um, he took over not only the YouTube channel, the emails, but also the website, and completely deleted me out of the company.
mm,
So, and the concept of the housing, I brought the idea here because it was something that I wanted to do. Not to say
mm,
that it wasn't being done in Ghana, but I brought the concept that I wanted to partner with the communities and some of the more villages that weren't connected to the cities, and
mm,
bring them to where they could be more self-sufficient and self-sustainable. And they can take this skill and not only build their own houses, but they could also build houses and make a company. And then once that company is there, then they can employ other Ghanaians. So
mm,
it was something to empower the people. And that was the original business model that I came here with. And that was taken away from me by that particular person. So then that caused me to have a challenge of starting all over again from zero, from ground zero. And to come here with a limited amount of monies to make that transition. And that company was supposed to be the company that was going to be my income.
mm,
So to be viable on the continent and to be self-sufficient. That was taken away from me. So I had to start over again from ground zero, form another company, find another partner, and just start every aspect of it all over again. Find another team on the ground. So, and this is supposed to be a pastor, a pillar of the community. This is someone
mm,
who stands up on the pulpit on Sundays and leads the youth and leads other community members. And things like this are taking place in the background. And there's plenty of different stories that I'm sure diasporans can tell in reference to these type of situations happening to them. But what I want to say is that we had the year of return and we returned, but there should be safeties put in place or things put in place so we can make that transition. If
mm,
I come here to start a company, you're asking me to be a part of the economy here in Ghana. And you're asking, and if I come to start a company, why should the majority ownership be to the Ghanaian if I can't produce 500,000 USD to start the company?
mm,
It shouldn't be that way. If I come here and I start a company, it's going to not only benefit me, but it's going to benefit the people of Ghana. It's going to build communities. It's going to bring jobs here. It's going to allow me to bring my skills and partner my skills with the skills that are here on the ground.
mm. It's a bitter one. Really, it's a bitter one. I want to salute those that are watching on the Pan African Daily TV Facebook page, because this page has been always on the problematic with Facebook with some other guests. So I see Yusuf Suleiman. Thank you for being here. Grace, Sister Grace Jaravaz. It's been a while. Masha Lawrence, I mean, you're watching live on Facebook. I want to just greet you and make you understand that I know that you're all there. MC Constantine Simpson Echo is also watching. Tico Bismarck Eno is watching us, I think, directly from Cameroon on the Facebook page, and many, many, many others. Now, Facebook has made it a point of duty to always, hide the number of people that are watching, but that's not a problem. That's not what we're all about. We're not about number of people. We know who we are, and we know how our follower is, and we know that you are always there with us. So thank you. Yes, yes, yes. So um Alucine Bangura said, I'm also watching live from Sierra Leone. Yes, Bangura, I saw you. I saw you. I didn't actually realize where you were watching from. Ricardo Bradford. Thank you so much also for watching on this other planet. Wherever you're watching on Facebook, please let me know. Let me give you a hand shout out there, because I know it's not easy being up at this time, particularly on the continent and watching us. But Queen Kana is right here. Ama is here, our guest from Ghana. So if she can be up, so all of us also. I know in the United States and others it's midday or past. So yes, we are live on the Pan African. Thank you so very much. Back to the conversation. I hope all of you watching from the continent and taking notes and listening and educating yourself on the kind of experiences that our brothers and sisters from the diaspora get from us when they relocate. And we cry every day. Oh, we don't have jobs. We are not this. Oh, we are poor. The government doesn't employ us. Now your brothers, your descendants, Africans of goodwill are coming back home to say we just want to contribute to take care of our young people, create institutions, create jobs, and this is how we're going to welcome them. That's the conversation today, and it's a very hard one because
Yeah.
we are going to take step on this, right? In as much as the euphoria is about we going home on the motherland, it is a collective agenda. You on the continent, us it as migrants, the diasporans, so we have to work together. We keep talking about
Yeah.
unity. Now, I'm coming back to you, Amma. Um, do you think you were abused on 2 points? First, your idea, your brainwash idea of it's a pastor, so he is a true person. Number one. Number
Mhm.
two, when you went there and you saw the situation on the ground, and you had to do it by your own self. Now, so you got into the spirituality. That was my question. How do we, the awoken, the conscious Africans, understand spirituality and religion, even though it's going to be another topic, so that we know the difference? But do you think it's because you used to think, oh, religious person, a pastor, and somebody that is famous in the community? Of course, it must be an agent that has all connections of bad networks. Yeah, but that's why he's famous. Are those the things that you got caught into?
No, I don't think that's the thing that I got caught into. It was just that the idea or the concept that I was bringing to Ghana that I wanted to do here, the technology, the building technology that I wanted to do, was that he was able to understand what it was that I was bringing. I have been carrying this idea around since 2017, and
Mm,
it wasn't relatable for anyone. And so when I brought the idea to him, it was relatable. So and that's what drew me in to this partnership.
mm,
And yeah, it it helped the fact to know that, oh yes, he's a pastor, so you know he's held to a higher calling when it comes to being honest and to being transparent in transactions, and
mm,
that wasn't the case. The community that I live in now, which is in Kumasi, come see the people that were not paid for the work that they did. Why would you do that to your fellow Ghanaian, from one Ghanaian to another Ghanaian? Me, I knew that when I came and I did my project, I wanted to pay people fairly because I know they have wives or husbands or they have children that they have to support. So
mm,
it's not in my heart to not give a full wage. But how do you have someone work on a project and then you just don't pay them at all, or you pay them half of what was allotted to them? So, and that's something that was done from a Ghanaian to a Ghanaian, and then we wonder why we have these certain socioeconomic situations on the ground, and
mm,
this is something that I wasn't accustomed to. When you say you're going to pay someone something, that's what you pay them, and that's it. So this was something that was a culture shock for me. Um, but what's helped me through this transition is that I've adopted a family. since I've been here. And that's how I ended up with the name Amankwah. I'm Saturday born, so Ama. But Amankwah is the family name of the family that adopted me.
mm,
And that has been the biggest help to my transition.
mm,
That's been my protection, that's been my buffer. And they've helped me to navigate through the language barrier, the different
mm,
nuances of everyday life here in Ghana. And
mm,
I would suggest anyone who comes to relocate in the country that you partner or you adopt a family that can help you through that transition. And not only did I have my Ghana family that has adopted me and taken me in as their own or their own daughter, but I do have friends on the ground who's also helping me to navigate the process through the process
mm,
of relocation.
mm,
Have to have that. There's no way that you can do it without your fellow Ghanaian. You just can't. It's not possible because they lived here, they grew up here, they have family here. And that's what is going to help you be successful and have longevity here on the continent or within Ghana is to have that. And that goes back to what you were saying. How do you integrate into the culture? How do you integrate into society? I've found that that's how you do it. And I've talked to other expats that have been here for a longer period of time. And that has been what has helped them to stay viable in the country is having
mm,
that family connectedness, connected to a family here on the ground. I know there's a lot of people who came and they've left because not only is the challenge about connecting um, with the people and integrating in society, but there's also a financial aspect of it as well. Um, what are you going to do? How are you going to earn an income when you're here on the continent? And I think that question has been answered over and over again as far as you have to come with a plan in reference to starting your own business, entrepreneurship. Um, you can also work remotely until you get the business started or you start earning income from that business. So that those are some options there as well. And as I said, the family is key. Partnering with the family, and you
mm,
spoke about when you go to another country and you're a migrant. There's different programs or NGOs that help you integrate into the country. That's something that's needed here. That's something that's needed to help us to transition
yes.
because we need to have some structures or something in place to
Mm,
help us to learn to know who we are as a people.
mm,
And like you, we so much was taken away from us. So now it's time to restore, renovate, bring those things back into us, pour
mm,
back into ourselves, and we need help with that. It's not anything that we can do on our own. And I'm not even going to pretend that, oh, I can come here. I've lived in other countries, but this transition is very different from when I lived in the UAE for those 3 years.
mm,
Because when I came here, you just think these people were the same skin color. We have the same facial features. We walk the same. But the thing is, they don't see us that way. A lot of times, I'm not seen as a black woman. I'm seen as a white woman. I've been called white woman so many times since I've been here. And I still don't understand that. I'm like, no, my skin color is the same color as yours. So why are you calling me a white woman? And they're saying, oh, well, that's what we call all foreigners. So, I mean, this is the type of thinking. And then they uh, automatically think that you're coming with a lot of money. And it's just like, no, I came here on a small budget. My funds are limited. I don't have any rich uncle or rich aunt or anyone that's supporting me. So these are some of the things that you're faced with when you're here on the ground.
Yes. I I'm having we're starting to get into this kind of conversations because I think when we talk about unity and connection, sometimes the word is just too broad. And I know that the real people on the ground or understand it. And so young people always are excited about, oh, we're united. Yes, of course. But the challenge in the work. And that's why I keep saying all the time we have work to do. It is not the work that we can pay our flights, go to the continent, go back into any community, and even merge. Like Elder Robert was saying yesterday, we have a lot that are just coming in and they want to. But I think they're really coming in with this enthusiasm, bringing their money, bringing the strength upon all the things that we keep saying. Oh, come back home. You know, home is a place where you are in the States, you're traumatized, you're this and this and this and that. And imagine this is the fourth generation of feet that have never even known anything that, anything different. So I think the measured things that we are researching here and we're giving solutions to it is actually how do we reintegrate our people? What is the help that they need or that we need? So it has to be some kind of partnership in building the continent. When I say partnership,
Right.
it's not like somebody has to pay somebody, but if you're already coming with the skills and the knowledge and the capital, even just that is too much that you're bringing. But now you need only help, not help for free, even, but you just
Oh,
need help, a facilitation. Somebody walk you around and not being able to trick you or not see you as a white person, and that. So, these infrastructures, we're working on them. I can guarantee you, and that's why we're taking a lot of space, not just being on the conversations here, but also in the background, we're putting all these structures because we said that's why people keep always saying we talk and we don't do. Because yes, we
mm,
look at all the countries, we see skyscrapers, and we say, "Oh, Africa is supposed to be like that," but we don't understand the work that these countries or these institutions put on the ground. You're talking about they call you a white woman. I know you're really like obsessed. Call me a white woman. I'm black. You're talking from a color point of view, colorism. But let me tell you,
right.
me myself, when I go home for vacation, they call me a white woman. You know why? That's the problem. The white woman shape that they call you is a symbol of respect. It's a symbol that you're growing up in a civilized white culture. You see the brainwash. So for
Wow.
them, in my family, they say, oh, they call it in our dialect, Yimukara. Yimukara means, oh, white woman, civilized woman, because you've been in the West for long and you're coming back. And so it's a kind of adoration. It's not an abuse on your color. I know nobody has told
Mm,
you this. Nobody has told you this, but
no.
I'm saying it because even me, I grew up in the village, raised up there, came just like a migrant. But I understand when I go back and they're like, oh, white woman. So you see, they kind of like adore you, honor you, and like, because of this brainwash, you're coming from another culture that is superior to them, a stronger culture from what they know. And so they begin to put this kind of thing. So there is also the tendency of a lot of misunderstanding. Now they call me white woman. I am black skin. I'm your sister. Yes, exactly. If we go back to the movie Madagascar, when we are conscious, we start understanding things, everything that even our artists, our talents, our music, or whatever. Even when Beyonce shout out to single women and who create the world, we are the queens and stuff. We never understood that. We danced to the rhythm, but we didn't get to the core of the message. It's the same thing when we watch Madagascar now. You will understand exactly what you're saying. that an elephant or a monkey that has been put in a zoo out here, or a lion and been given steaks and been put on diapers, and then thrown back into the jungle, he looks at the other lion but don't recognize it, and they're like,
No.
you eat steaks and the other one's like, so I mean, those are things that now in our transition, when we see them, we begin to compare how the integration processes will look like coming to America too, that just came out. We saw how this couple integrated, but then at the end of the day get married to a local woman, and it was hard even for the family back home to agree. But then, so this is the new culture that is coming to us, Africa. When we say that our people are coming back, we're not going to stay the way we are on the continent. Okay, we have to create now another new culture of merging. Not that the diaspora is coming to tell us what we have to do, not that you also would have to stay in your traditional ways of, so it's so much work. Queen, where do we start? Education, that's all I say.
Um, we start by just we've started. It's not where do we start. It's just the question would be how do we continue? Because we've already started. We're here.
Sure. Mm,
Um, we're already here. But how do you get beyond this point? I guess would be the question.
mm,
And the answer to that, as I said, there needs to be structures put in place. You need to make that connection with the family on the ground,
mm,
and then you need to integrate the communities.
mm,
A lot of times when we come here, we go to the expat communities. And I mean, there's some people who've been here for 20, 15, 20 years. They still can't speak the language.
mm,
Um, they live away from the communities.
mm,
They stay in the expat communities. They go to the expat stores. They mingle within the expat circles, and they don't integrate with the people, on a grassroots level. So they're doing a disservice to themselves, and they're doing a disservice to the communities as well. Because how do you integrate that way? Dr. Tata, I'm not sure if you're still there.
okay. I
Okay,
think,
you're back.
yeah, we had a blackout. I don't know from where it came. At a certain at a time I wasn't hearing you, but I think we're back. We're connected now. Yes, go on.
Oh,
They integrate.
so yeah, because we have some people that have been here for 15 or 20 years, and they still they live in Ghana, but they're not a part of they're not a part of Ghana. They
Yes.
just live here. So now the people that are coming now, the people who are answering the call to come home, we live in Ghana. We live within the community. The community that I live in now, when I come to Accra, it's all Ghanaians.
Mm,
Um, there's a few expats in the community, but the community, the majority of the community is Ghanaians.
mm,
And so you have to start there. That helps you to integrate. That
absolutely.
helps you to assimilate
Mm,
in the community. It makes your transition easier.
mm,
Um, so I think, we're already here. It's already started.
mm,
So it's just like, how do you continue? How do you make it viable? Because a lot of times what happens is we come here with these expectations, with this excitement, with this enthusiasm, and
mm,
then we get on the ground like, I had no idea it was going to be like this. I didn't know it was going to be this difficult. I didn't know that sometimes the people were not going to like me. They actually resent me for being here. I was in Kumasi, And the young lady, I went to the market, and the young lady asked me, "So you're from America?" I said, "Yes." She said, "So why are you here? Why would you come here?" And she was just completely baffled,
Mm-hmm.
totally confused. And I told her all the good things about Ghana and the good things that are happening. But they don't see it.
Mm.
They don't see it like we see it. They don't see the opportunities like we see the opportunities.
Mm.
And so then when they see us as being ungrateful, how is it that you don't want to be in the United States? How is it that why would you want to come to this country? Look at this place. So it's sometimes they don't even have pride or enthusiasm for their own country. And who am I to come here from the US where they're trying to go to tell them all these good things about their country because of their economic status? They don't see it. They don't see it.
Mm.
And I was having a conversation with a Ghanaian, and he loves his country. He
Mm-hmm.
loves everything about his country, and he's enjoying it. But because of the economic status that he has, that's the reason why he can enjoy it.
Mm.
And it becomes a question of the haves and the have nots. The haves are enjoying the best of Ghana, but the have nots is not seeing the same thing that I'm seeing when I come to Ghana. So there's that resentment there, because I can live a totally different type of life in Ghana than what they can, um, because of economics. And there's certain statuses in Ghana: government workers, um, business owners. The life that they live in Ghana is totally different from the everyday person, the life that they live. Say, for instance, someone who works at the market or may have one of the small shops that are on the roadside. It it's like night and day. I'll put it that way. It's like night and day. Their experience of their own country is that different. So when we come, these are some things that we have to understand. That's the reason why uh, things are so open for exploitation, as
Mm.
far as financial exploitation, when you're here as an expat,
Mm.
because of these differences in socioeconomic levels within the country.
Mm. Absolute. Everything is correct on point. What you're saying, it's upon us. It's upon us, and you can see the brain damage when we talk about this
Yeah,
brain damage. When we talk about brainwash, some people don't get it. Living
yeah,
in a continent where you don't even know the opportunities because you never were taught one. You were given an education that made you to leave the continent. And so we wonder
mhm,
why. So it's a whole lot of programming that we have to deprogram. We have to
yes,
unlearn these structures. And like I said yesterday, we have to start from just the basics. When we talk about Pan-Africanism, you're living, you're actually there in Ghana where Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, actually expanded this ideology. And so when even we're using the case study of Ghana because Ama is in Ghana, it doesn't mean that it's applicable. And we're going to be having this guest on this conversation on integration from the different parts of Africa, those that have relocated, and we compare both. And even as the migrant communities, when you left Africa, what is the idea that you had to come out here? And when you came out here, it's the same way. When I came also to Germany, there was this cultural shock, the weather, the food. Even till today, I'm not integrated. I mean, in terms like, say, be home. So let us not think it is something that is only happening to us because, yes, we are marginalized or something. It is a process that needs a solution. And there are tools and there are ways the government put these things, or individuals or NGOs or business people, and you're listening to me and you're asking most of the time, oh, what can I do? This is a business venture. You want to get into contact with that. We're really looking on integration structures on the continent. We have to try the models. We've already been working with some other centers to see how we can. There is no single country on the continent, from what our research studies is telling us, that has an integration office for foreigners. Because in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, they never even thought that this kind of an awakening would come, that they should prepare, that their children, their lost children, will come. Do they even recognize that they even were? So it's a lot. When I said, where do we start? It's not that we're already there. Of course, you are the, what we say, the research, the prototype. You're like the rabbit in the lab, right? So you go through the process, you taste all this, you give us the feedback, or all of us, then we can sit now and begin to say, these are the structures. And that's where I think our work begins. Not, we know about talking, we know about, we have to go back, we know about the this, but now let's be ready, because this is just the beginning. Imagine this is still spotted coming home, but we're going to start getting people come home, like Marcus Garvey prophesied, or like the time is arrived. They're going to come. Imagine if we don't even start solving these little problems of putting these institutions, these structures. Adoptive family, very simple. That's already noted. That's why it's in our here, because it's first of all not a normal structure or a normal situation that you're going back home to you and you live like a foreigner. These are all barriers. It's the same thing we were talking yesterday. You have to go, you show your passport, you show, what's the difference between you and a Chinese on the continent? You have to pay rent for here and that. So normally the spirituality process that was made by our creator, you go back into your families. You're going to call it an adoptive family, but you will not agree with me until you agree exactly that's your family. It's God. It's not
Mm-hmm.
me that made it. It's your family. You belong to this family. That's why we cannot take some kind of structures that we've grown in and we think that we can operate on the continent like that. No, if you're going back home, you would meet a family that you belong to that family, and that's who you are. And so we can facilitate a lot of these things. But if we go like I'm going for business in this idea, and we move down there and we begin to put these things. Our own work was to see, hi, I am migrated. What are the structures that are put here? These are the steps. And then we replicate these things, put also, and begin to get ready for the greatest comeback of our people. If not, it's going to be a mess. I can tell you already. So we are happy that we have you, Kwana, Ama. We are so grateful and thankful that, I mean, these things are happening now to us so that we can get prepared. Are we in a blackout again? Can somebody give me a thumb up there? Because I see she's disappeared. I don't know whether me too. Ama, I can see you again. Are you still there? All right, good. So we have these projects coming up. We have the adoptive family project. We already worked about that long. And then we have the love and family, through marriages. How do we facilitate paperwork? How do we connect? How do we do due diligence? How do we really know which one fits? So there's a lot coming up. So unity is not just a word. It is a whole work. It's a whole structure that is put to achieve unity. It's like peace. When we say peace, people just like, oh, well, we need peace. Oh, Africa has to be at peace with itself. It's a whole work on that word peace. So I'm happy that you are here with us to educate us on the situation, on the case study of Ghana. Tomorrow, we're still also going to get a guest from Ghana who is going to tell us about marrying a Ghanaian. And she grew up, raised up, born in California, and she's married now to a homeboy, a Ghanaian, a cute prince. And both of them, I think they're artists or what. I mean, I saw their projects and like, wow. And you can see this fusion. And they are really a crunch couple to this love and family project that is coming up. And so she'll be telling us also her experiences. What is it that maybe in the mindset culture, what does she does different, and what is it, So on this kind of researches, this kind of small mini projects that we're taking and talking about them, is a way that we are developing. So we're not just creating content or just have guests and just get viewers. No, we're taking prototypes, test them. What is it that they get out there? What is the experience? And then we build a solution out of the challenges. Because we cannot read books. Some people, oh, go and read books in the past. Books, yes, But you can read that book, like Amma, you said, but to get down to the field and do it, I can't see you. Why? I'm also here. My queen. I'm also here. Wait, I don't know what's going on. To me, I'm not seeing Amma. I don't know. All right. So that's also one of the work. And like we're saying, if you have an experience in any other country where you're watching us and you think, yes, I am here, I am a descendant, I relocated, I'm expatriate, I'm this and this is what I've gone through, this is what we can do. Of course, we also know not everybody that relocates to the continent is going to be in the village, in the communities where locals are. So we also always have the high class people, just like in every community, people will want to just be their space. They don't have time to go learn something and teach. They just want to integrate and be a part. So some people are lazy, some people have to do the work. Anyhow, yeah. So Amma, what is it that we should know again? Do you want to tell me, did you give up that project of housing? Because I would not agree to that.
And we are still doing, I think you can see me now.
Okay, yes, now. Oh my God. I was being so frustrated just being here in the studio alone. I hear you and I don't see you. I was like, it's not my show, it's
Still
you.
here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm still so it's a new company, Organic Earth Homes and Lifestyles, and we're doing rammed earth technology where we're building with um, clay, sand, and water,
Mm,
and a small amount of cement. And it's a sustainable housing. We're using local materials, and it's very similar to Atakwame, which is the mud houses that you used to see in your villages. But what
I
we've
grew
done
up
with this
there.
tech,
I grew up.
yes.
I grew in the mud house. Today, when I go home, I go and sleep in that mud house. Tell us the difference.
So these houses are more modernized,
Mm,
and look just like any other modern home structure here in Ghana. So no, I did not give up the project. Actually, we're working on a project right now, and I'm
mm,
happy to say that some of the locals that were in Kumasi who
mm,
worked on the initial prototype, I brought them with me, and now they're employed. And that was the whole purpose of me bringing the company here and and starting the working with the locals so they could learn this particular technology. And we're
mm,
teaching classes to train up a workforce here in Ghana to know how to do rammed earth. And despite the setbacks that I experienced early on, everything happens for a reason. And no matter what, the vision was given to me by God. And so nobody can take that vision away from me. Um, no matter how hard they try to take it on as their own. Um, God gave me that vision, and I'm here to see it through and to be a blessing to someone else here in Ghana. And that was the purpose of me uh, putting everything in place the way that it was put in place, because it wasn't me to come here to make money. It was for me to bring another technology to the continent, so the workforce could be here. Because like you said, you always hear there's no jobs here. The youth don't have any work. This is a job, and it can be more than that. It could be your own company. Once you learn this technology, you can start your own company and you can employ others.
mm.
So yes, it's the dream is still alive.
Mm. Thank you so much. I mean, I really wanted to hear that because I like, oh, what? No, it can happen. Um, the dream is alive. Of course, we are seeing that now like an opportunity. I mean, which kind of young people we just sit and people create them jobs? They have to create jobs, and that's the industrialization of Africa process coming now. Particularly when we see the 70,000 or sorry, 70% or per se are unemployed. That's a workforce. If we revolutionize this one, it's game over, right? So that is our target now, because the hungry person is the one that would chase. And we have the skills and this technology and this know-how and whatever we can do. We're calling upon you not to give up on the continent. Just take your things and be there. We give you all the support that we say we can to also work on the continent and put these infrastructures so that we can together unite, each and everyone bringing his own a contribution. No one is going to stand up. You see what the leaders are doing, and we keep saying, oh, the leaders, they can't do it alone. So every one of us
Um,
have to engage in his own little way and to bring our unity into practical, tangible unity. So when we say unity, they don't see the word, but they see the actions. And Kwana, I'm really grateful because you're building on architecture that looks like us, using our natural materials and not being able to exploit or to export things and steal from China, but use our mud, what we have for free, and use
mhm.
our hands to build exactly our roundhouses like we used to do. And that's the new
Right.
design on the continent. And so when we say we don't want the
Yes.
Western culture, so they will not see all these skyscraper, they have to see our roundhouses like our ancestors did. I think that's the vision, isn't it? Go ahead.
Yeah, the vision is like you just said, to use natural resources that are here on the ground, that it's already been provided to us. It's no reason for us to look to another continent when we have uh, a uh, historical reference for architectural buildings, and our ancestors were light years ahead with some of the structures that they put in place, and
Mm,
some of those same structures are still standing to this day. And so that speaks to the advancement that they were at that particular level.
mm,
But I wanted to speak to on the as far as the youth is concerned.
mm,
A lot of times what I see in the educational system, they're training them to join a workforce, to be an employee instead of an employer.
mm,
And I think mindset needs to be changed. It needs to be changed in the way that the educational system is in play here in Ghana, as far as the relearning, to let people know that they can be their own boss. They can think independently and outside of the box. That
mm,
the use of creativity, um, instead of just book knowledge, or
mhm,
I want to get a job at the bank, or I want to get a government job, or I want to get a job with, say, customs or immigrations or something like that. I mean, those, yes, you can do that, but they can only absorb so many people. They can't absorb all of these graduates that are graduating from um, uh, these universities here on the continent. So I think there needs to be something put in place where they're teaching you how to be an entrepreneur. Where do you start? What can you do? What are the opportunities? What is a partnership? What is a collaborative? Because if you take 5 or 6 people or 10 people that you graduated with, you guys come together, pool your resources together, and start something, then all of you will be employed. But if you come out and everyone is doing their own thing and everyone is looking for a job with this company or that company, 9 times out of 10, most of you will end up unemployed. So this mindset of I need a job, give me a job? Where can I work? What about what can you create? What how can you become the employer? How can you become the entrepreneur?
mm,
And then what systems have been in place to empower them
mm.
to do these things, to start a business, to start a small startup. So that's something else that can solve some issues on the ground as well. So you'll have the mentality and the mindset of an owner and not an employee.
Um, Very correct. I don't think that's something that you said could be. That is a total revolution that we're talking about. That sector. This is the sector
Yes.
because that's the majority of the sector. And so, if we have to
Mhm.
completely revolutionize the continent, yes, we need applicable technology. And then, in terms of entrepreneurship, I can guarantee you that they have it. They have it because my
Mhm.
parents grew up as farmers and they could trade with one another and they never even went to school. It is in the gene that we have it. But the idea is, how do we use the handwork sector? Because each and every one of them has a handwork. And now the competition in the market where you see the young people, they're going to Dubai, going to this United Arab Emirates, buying all this, or China, then they fill the whole market. But the idea is for us to create, manufacture from our own local things and bring it up
Right.
to a competence that is compatible to the products in the market. Finishing. If you look at the carpentries, they do big things, but you look at the finishing, I mean, you just like, it's a field also. So I think we're
Mhm.
moving to that industrialization, that technology area, that manufacturing, that this 70% is what we can work with our youths that have the time, they have the capacity, and they are willing, they're hungry to learn something new. That's what the diaspora has. Because the whole of our intelligence, as you all know, was taken back, stolen from the continent. All what we're talking about here, we created from talent, from music to everything. So if we just bring
Yeah.
back that technology and that know-how,
Mhm.
if we talk about Hollywood,
Yeah.
we talk about talents, we talk about building, we talk about building, working on the farms. It was not machines at that time. So the greatest intelligence that was stolen to us is now going back. And that intelligence has not to look at, it can be, no, has to look at this sector because exactly is this sector that is going to revolutionize and bring the continent to that stand. So yes, you are
Yes.
absolutely correct. When you go to the market, like you're saying, do you really see local products? Most of it is China, sold by Africans.
Yeah, it's true. Um, I think in order to change that mindset, because, like, for example, you have your local rice, and I buy the local rice that's made here in Ghana because I want to support the economy. I want that economy to grow, the local economy to grow. But most of the time, when you're in the markets, you don't see the local rice. Ghanaians are not buying the local rice. They're buying anything and everything that doesn't have Ghana written on it. So I think there needs to be a campaign or a push for I love Ghana or everything Ghana because or everything Africa, because to build this pride and knowing that it's good, it's a good thing to buy local. It's a good thing to have your own. It's a good thing to eat locally, to support local farmers and local produce and local entrepreneurs. It's a good thing. So I think that would help a lot to have a campaign or a big social media push to buy local, eat local, stay local. I don't know what the logo would be, but to change this mindset, because right now, from what I'm seeing from day to day, anything that is not from here is better or the best. And then I even tell them when I come here, I said, do you know neem, moringa, all these things that just you can just walk down the road and just pick it, how much it costs when you're overseas, and they don't want it here. They don't want to take it. They don't want to use it. It doesn't mean anything to them. It doesn't have any value to them. So I think if there's a push, an educational push, as far as being proud of where you're from, being proud of things that are produced locally, I think that would help the economy so much, and then it also will create jobs for people that are here in the country, because you wouldn't be looking outside of yourself so many times for everything, looking outside of yourself for tomatoes. Some of the tomatoes even come from other countries. They don't even come from Ghana. For rice, look at all the rice that comes from foreign countries. So many different products, coffee, tea, all those things come from foreign countries. You have neighbors who produce tea that you can get from your neighbors right here on the continent. That is far better quality, far better taste. But we still continue to look outside of ourselves for the answer when we have the answer right here in front of us. And so I think if that campaign, that push to say that, we love Ghana, or we love what's made in Ghana, then it would start to change that mindset where you don't need to go outside of yourself or outside of your country to for something better.
Mm, absolute. I want to salute our brother Kofi Zuma, who just came back, and Caribangs. You guys are back from vacation, and I want to thank our brother Leo Wright and our sister who have just contributed, the other brother. Thank you so very much. I saw it. Thank you. We truly appreciate you for supporting this conversation and this education here, because this is where our work, like I said, is going to start now on critical, not just critical thinking, but critical working on projects that work and create impact in our society and bring the change. You talking about these campaigns and stuff like that? Yes, very good. We are thinking it is from the basics, just to learn to teach about Pan-Africanism. You can imagine people that have been devalued and rendered the poor, and everything that is all about you is not worth it, is devalued. You're put into a system to believe for years upon years, generation upon generation, that you are not good, even just the way you look first. Talk less about even what you eat. And so it is difficult. It's a programming that has been taking place for long. And so why would I want to? But there are tools, like I said. It is not somebody that actually would just do it. People that were already focused on business. Because in the African culture, we are business. That's the problem. If we go back to the culture of business, grow more than you. I want to just make my money. So I begin to do things that are enticing. Even the packaging looks good, but the inside, I don't care, and stuff like that. And these are things that attract our brains, our eyes, and something. Not that somebody actually really just did something to you, but their culture of living together. And that was broad. So that's why we keep talking about we don't look at you. I want to be the most wealthiest, and so that the others look unto me. I want to be this. No, we had a culture of if you are not thriving, I am not. I am just what I am because of who you are and because of who or because of you. So this kind of culture is what we're trying to say. We need to go back to Sankofa. Going back to Sankofa, a lot of people are going to interpret it in all sorts of variation. Even the ones that are into this business of, okay, we're having connections here and that, and we're agency for this. At the end of the day, even when people go back like you, if it's not your spiritual call that you went for, the first experience, the second, the third, come on, give me a break. You've been out of there. But you see, they are people that are called to work, to engage voluntarily, passion, put their
Mm-hmm.
money, put their time. Like I used to say, all the people came to the dimension to build houses, to work and a living, feed their immediate family. All the people just came to build those lives. And we fit in that
Mm-hmm.
category of building lives. And most of us
Yeah.
would not even own land. I don't own a land. I don't own a house. I don't even own a car. But I own the whole race of people that I'm building. So looking was identifying the passionate ones on the continent, start working with them, people that are just saying, and a lot of young people that are reaching out to us, thousands in their groups, saying, no, I don't even want a compensation like the model in Ethiopia. I just want to build home. I just want to build. So we need to go back, like I said, a reset to reboot the continent, starting by just little values of let them know themselves first. If they accept themselves, they'll buy rice made in Ghana. If not, we're going to start acting like the Chinese or the business people and do some sweet packages, do some good designs. We can also do that, but we are not fake. And we can fake. We don't even know how
Right.
to lie. That's why we're so original, right? And so if you're not in a line culture, that you grew up in an exploitation, in a line culture, in a cheating culture, and you adopted this culture, that's why we don't fit. We need to go back to who we were.
Yes. It's true. I definitely agree with what you're saying, because even I was thinking about most of the time when the diaspora come here to the country, they want to go to areas or places where nature is prevalent, where you have nature, where you
Mm,
have water bodies, where you have open space, and it's not congested, less people. And even that thought alone, they don't understand you. What do you mean you don't want this big house? You don't want to be in a and live in a gated community? No, that's not what we want. We want to plant our food. We want
mm,
to dig our feet in the ground. We want to have some chickens running around. And we want to be self-sustainable, self-sufficient. We want to be off the grid. And this is something totally opposite of what they feel is development or civilization.
mm,
For them, it's the house in the gated community with the concrete or cemented driveway and everything cemented, and all the trees are gone, and that's improvement, that's development, that's progress. And here we are, us diasporans coming from the United States, um, the country that's supposed to have so many resources. And what do you mean you want to live in the village? What do you mean you want chickens, and you want to harvest rainwater, and you want solar power? Um, they don't. It's something that just baffles them. They're very confused by it. But what confuses me is that when you become and have that house and build that house, and it's all cement, it's all concrete, you've gotten rid of all the vegetation and the trees and everything, then you walk out the door, and then you are forced to have this paper money in your hand to buy food, to turn the lights on, to keep the lights on, to put petrol in your car. For me, if you put your position yourself where you can be self-sufficient, you have your garden there, you have your peppers, your onions, your tomatoes, your spinach, what have you. Then you can just go to that garden, pick your food, and go and cook. But then you say you walk out the house, and you've left the house, and you've gotten rid of the trees and the vegetation and everything. And then you go out in the street and you say you're hungry, or you're looking for money when you could have. How fertile is the ground here in Ghana? You can literally just take tomato seeds. You cut a tomato, take the seeds out, and throw it. You don't have to plant it. You just throw the seeds, and the tomato plants will come. So, these are just, and they think that, oh, no, the modern world, you go to one of the local stores and you go and buy food there. That's modern, that's advancement. And that's what we diasporans, we're running away from that. We don't want that anymore. We want to take our future into our own hands and be the creator of our own future. And we don't want that type of lifestyle anymore. Now, I can't speak for everyone. I can say a great majority of us want to experience that self-sustainable, self-sufficient lifestyle. And Ghana can provide you, if you want that luxury house, you can have it. If you want to stay in that townhouse or condominium, it's there, it's available. But at the grassroots level, you have the opportunity to be here and be self sufficient, where you don't have to count on anybody except for yourself. And that is a wonderful, wonderful feeling to know that I did this, I planted this, I picked this, I can cook this. The rainwater, where I live, I harvest rainwater. We don't
Mm,
run out of water. We don't have to pay anyone for it. We did a borehole. We got water from the ground. We don't have to pay anyone for it. We have solar lights. We use the sun. I'm not paying any electric bills. We use the rammed earth to build the house. There's no mortgage. So these are the things that we're aspiring to when we come to this country. For me, for that calling to come back home. And that's something that I want to impress upon the people who are here on the continent, that you can do the same thing. You can be self-sufficient and self-reliant.
oh boy. Oh my queen. You see my smiles. Anything that is just working and that fits and that connect, you can read it always. For you don't need to hear my words. Exactly, that's the point. You see, so we're going there. So like you said, women, and I just want to advise or advise the audience. We just gain Amma, and Amma is going to be with us also in our expertise pool once every month, right? And on this topic, because exactly the point that you're saying, no bills, water, rain. These are why. That's the reason why we say we're natural God people, because
Right.
God really gave us this continent to do everything to be free. You get water, you get land, you just planting, it grows. You don't need to put anything on it. Anything. On the continent, you have the banana, you have the leaves, you have the rope from the banana. You can do a whole logistic process with it. Everything. You eat the banana, you cook it, you use the leaf to do like the aloe foil, and then you look the plantain rope, you can tie it. Everything is given in one plant, and you can put it into every sauce that you want for free, and it's your own.
Yeah.
So yes, one of the best kind of thing that we can go through is you, Amma, and coming back from the real point of view. I mean, I really just don't. We have opportunities to have some of those guests. Sometimes we're in Asia, we just look at them, we're like, oh, okay, good to have. It's just about conversation, fine. We want to host everybody. But now we are here on the journey of really bringing that knowledge to our people. And we see how difficult it is. You going there to integrate. But first of all, you have a problem to solve by seeing how you want to change your own brothers and sisters, and but also want to feel it. Are we in a blue? Before you would finally get there, tell me, my queen. Tell me.
One thing that I can say is that the community that I'm in, it's been an exchange that has taken place. which I've enjoyed since I've been here in Ghana. Just learning about the environment in which I live, um, the medicinal herbs that are available
Mm,
to us, that are here at our fingertips, which is something that I've never experienced before. These vegetation and plants that have medicinal values that you can use for just, some small ailments that you may have.
mm,
I've enjoyed that exchange of information because I'm in a more rural area. Um, I've never had chickens before, so them just giving me information on how to take care of them and how um, to to feed them and different things like that. That's an
mm,
exchange of information,
mm,
and also the uh, with the farming and the planting of produce and food and different things like that. Me thinking I know everything. I came with this big bag of seeds from the
mm,
United States, and I'm like, I'm gonna plant all these different um, vegetables while I'm here. I'm telling you, like maybe 70% of the seeds that I brought to plant here, they didn't even come up. It was so funny because here in Ghana, you can plant something within 2 or 3 days, it's growing. Within two
yes,
or 3 days, it's growing out of the ground. Me, I brought my seeds maybe a month later or 2 or 3 weeks later, nothing was growing. Everyone who came by, they're like, what's happening? Why isn't it growing? And they said, oh, well, she brought the seeds from the US. So so they're not used to that. They're used to seeing something grow within a couple of days. And
mm,
me, I'm thinking I'm doing so. I ended up using the indigenous seeds that are here, from the fruits and vegetables and everything that we eat, and just using those seeds, and the food just comes up just like that, literally within a couple of days. That you can see the vegetation coming out of the ground. So it's an exchange. It's an exchange, and I enjoy that because that's part of the process. That's part of the experience. That's what makes things interesting. That's what makes things fun. So, you know, those are the things, and that experience only came because I have my adopted family here, and
mm.
I'm with them. So it helps. It helps. It really helps a lot.
Thank you so very much. I mean, it's a wonderful conversation that we're having here, and this is just a start of getting that. I see a lot of comments and people like, yeah, how we have to start made in Africa. Yes, of course, we have to start that. Others are saying, how do we make really farming cool? Yes, we have to. If I don't make, I don't wear. If I don't produce, I don't wear. I mean, we know about the $1 One Africa project is coming up with also with our elder Marvin Gaye. And so all these things, without the education on spot, we can bring all these cosmetic ideas. They're all wonderful. So we also thought about an issue of international experience for our youth. And we're also putting out that kind of exchange program because the idea, like you said, to be honest with you, I also had that mentality when I was on the continent. Now, why won't
Mhm.
the African see that kind of housing as a development? Because exactly that's all what they've seen about the Western media. The Western media shows you just that. And so that's what they understand
Mhm.
as civilization. Uh, um, so the real civilization where they are, nobody will want to see it except we want to make that experience. So we also are putting up other projects like international experience. And international experience mean just like you say, you go to the continent, adopt a family. We also want families in the diaspora that are not going to the continent, to adopt a youth from Africa, 1 year, 2 years. Let them just make the experience because sometimes when they get the experience and then you go back
Mhm.
home. to teach them that, they would see it from really a different angle. Agriculture, for instance, if we take them into the farm, how they do agriculture here, the packaging and selling, to be honest with you, all of them will go back to the farms. But no matter how you teach, it's a combination. You can teach the world is now digital and they see other things. How does the brain register it? So we have to put all these tools, these elements, these projects. What is it is that is a challenge? How do we solve that challenge? How do we do it practically? So yes, everything you are just on point. You're saying everything that we noted and we had expected of this conversation, and I can't wait to have you here now. But the person whom we're hosting tomorrow, I think, happens to be a colleague or a friend or a sister or a neighborhood or someone that is also intermarriage. And we're talking about uh, all that this project like love and family and stuff like that. I mean, can you just give us a little bit? I mean, I'm already curious when I saw her pictures and in the way they fuse together. And some of the people are like, oh, you go to the continent, the mentality is different. Or the girls on the continent or the men are saying, they're too white in their thinking. You live with them or you've sent them. How? Before we even get her tomorrow, give us a little bit of gist. Gossip a little bit. That's what we women know doing, gossiping. Gossip a
Oh,
little bit, please.
that's a whole nother show, Dr. Tata. Talking about dating and marrying on the continent and integrate into the continent is one thing, but integrating and marriage and dating, that's a whole nother show. I don't think we have time to even go into that one.
Anyway, but we're bringing that. It's going to be one of the projects also that we're doing on the Africa We Want Global, the international
Okay.
experience, the adult family, the integration cultural centers and stuff. All this are on the repertoire. And that's why, of course, like we're saying, we're going through these research processes. And our next guest is Quanessa Jackson. She is
Yeah.
born in California, relocated to the continent, and is married to a handsome king out there on the continent. When we talk too much about Ghanaian, our other viewers on the continent see it as if, is this a Ghanaian show? No, we're talking about the continent in general. But we're using the case
Right.
study today and tomorrow of Ghana. And we'll be touching other places. But maybe you could just tell us, what was your experience in the United Arab Emirates?
Oh, okay. Well, it's a very conservative country, but not as conservative as most may think. I mean, you can, the women don't have to cover in the United Arab Emirates.
Mm,
As me being there, I don't have to cover. I can drive. I had a driver's license when I was there. You have malls, you have movie theaters, you have restaurants, you have clubs, that nightclubs that you can go out to. Um, I mean, you have all the social events and everything. But one misconception that I that I know on the continent is that people think, oh, let me leave Africa and go to Dubai and work. But what they find out is when they get there, it's not what they thought it was going to be. And they don't find that out until they get there. And rather unfortunately, um, uh, you think you may be devalued in Africa, but you are even more devalued there in the United Arab Emirates.
mm.
Did I say too much? So I've met a lot of people there that are working there from Uganda, from Nigeria, from Ghana, from Kenya, and they have bachelor's degree. They have a master's degree. Some of them even have their own businesses, and they left their own businesses to go there to work. And it's it's not what you think it is. Those people have positioned and put that country where their people come first, no matter what. no matter what. They don't put anybody ahead of their own people on any level, in any sense of the word. And that's something that I think we as Africans, we should start doing. We should start putting our people first. We put everybody before us, and it needs to stop. Nobody else does that. When you go to other countries, they don't put anybody ahead of their own people in jobs, in business, in resources, nothing. They don't put anyone ahead of them. It's only here on the continent that we put everybody else ahead of ourselves. So I think that's another culture shock that you'll see when you go to the UAE, um, and you'll see that they were able to transition their country within a short period of time with one or two main resources, whereas we have on the continent multiple resources. And it was because of vision and unification that they were able to do that, that they were able to take themselves from a desert country to what you see now with the skyscrapers and the tourist attractions and tourist destination. And it's the same thing that can be done here on the continent. So, and then that just goes back to, as we were talking about earlier, the mindset or the change of the mindset. So, my experience there was probably maybe a little bit different than most because I was contracted to work there, and that's because of the passport you hold sometimes dictates the treatment that you get as well. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah, that's
Absolute,
UAE.
absolute. Yeah, the stronger cultures swallow the weaker, the smaller cultures. It's a fact. Yes, we are there already. You already said it. We are on that track, and we're even going to be much better because of our resources, our intelligence, our fastness, our young growing population. Um, we are getting there in no time. This is our time. We can sing and dance and do anything. The one thing, we go to bed, before we sleep, we pray and thank God this is our time. We get up in the morning, the first thing, this is our time. Now, you said something that I would like us to conclude because we're 7 minutes into the show. Um, you talked about the idea of the United Arab Emirates putting their people first. They put their people first.
Yeah.
So even in every cultures, in Germany, it's not different. In France, they put their citizens first. I think we are the only race, I can say that, that don't do that. But then you understand now the genesis or the origins of our challenge, the origin
Hmm.
of our challenge, and we still go back to Pan-Africanism or Ubuntu, starts from the fact that when we say we're teaching Pan-Africanism, and a lot of people are going to like, oh, Dr. Susan, you say we're going to start teaching Pan-Africanism. What does that mean? We're going to start teaching ourselves how to love ourselves first,
Yes.
because you can
Yes.
never put somebody first if you don't put yourself first. And that's what the African has
Hmm.
never done. We all grew up in that
Hmm.
community where preferential treatment has always been given to somebody else first. So, and it's not a culture that you can teach people how to put others first when those people don't put themselves first. And I think we are going into this practical knowledge of the institute, and Pan African Institute also is one of our topic training certifications, and that one really has to do with motherhood. Us women, how do we raise the children? Do we put some
Hmm.
preferences? How do we put confidence and make them to face the adversities of life? Or we just that really that one that are so generous and accommodative and everything is okay, fine with us? No. So it is our time. And as I said, it's a reset. The world is resetting its economy. So Africa is resetting its culture, its traditions, spirituality. entrepreneurship, young people. It's a whole reset. And guess what? This is not going to shock you. It's not going to shock anyone that is listening. It is just us to do it. If you're looking for some other
Yes.
person, oh, that's what Africa should be doing. That's what I also thought years back. But now I just
Mhm.
realized no, it is you that has to do it. It is me that has to do it. And if you ask United Arab Emirates, it never took a whole nation for them to do it. It just took a vision and a small group of people, and how committed and passionate they were and dedicated, and they got things done. And I think this is our time. The viewers, the followers of Pan African Daily, and all the platforms that are awakening, this is our time. Don't put any trust or any work on people that would not do it. You have the knowledge, you have the vision, we have to do it, and this is our time. Your conclusion?
Yes. I just wanted to conclude with saying that a lot of times what I hear when I'm on the ground here in Ghana is that we need better leaders. It's the politicians. Um,
Mm,
if we had better leaders, we could our country would be this or that.
mm,
But if you start doing something small in your own little area, wherever you are,
mm,
if you are in some small village, start something there. Start doing something there. Start making a difference there. And then eventually it'll catch on one by one by one. But instead of just saying, no, our leader's this, it'll never happen, it can't happen. No, just start doing your small little part. That's it. But you have to start.
mm,
You have to start somewhere.
mm,
And it sometimes it's not sometimes it can be overwhelming to think about the work that needs to be done. So then you just think of it in little small bite-sized pieces. And then you just start doing your little small part that you can do, that you can handle. And you believe it or not, it will make a big difference in the end. And that's what I've done. I've come here and I've tried to do my small part. And I've also know that the people that are already here can help me. Because like I said in the very beginning of our conversation, we come here too with baggage. We come
mm,
here too with toxicity. We come here too with changes that we need to make within ourselves. And I
mm,
know that by this experience that I'm having now, it can heal me as well. But I have to be open to that healing. And I have to understand what that healing looks like because
mm,
it doesn't come the same for everyone.
mm,
So just do your part, do your small part wherever you are on the continent. And you'll find that it'll make a huge difference.
mm. Absolutely. Thank you so much. It's so true. We all have to be a part of the journey. When we look at this idea of, yes, our leaders have to do this. Yes, of course, our leaders have to. But if imagine now that for the past 400 decades, we've seen that our leaders definitely have hands tied other inspirations or other visions. Now, the vision is not given to everyone. Just because he's a leader doesn't mean he has that vision. And then when we look at
Right.
the possibility and the opportunity that we have, that we're even the majority, the marginalized, the ones on the continent. If you look at the majority, if you look at even the classism, it's very clear. In Europe or in America, you really will not see classism. Go to Africa. Everywhere that you want to see the reality of the world, go to Africa. You're going to see the real thing. You're going to see a Johannesburg and you're going to see a Soweto. And you're going to see two poverty and richness in your face. Here,
Yeah.
sometimes they pretend the infrastructure is the same. So you really don't know who is rich, who is right. People say cars and stuff like that. You really don't know, right? It's a cover up. In Africa, it's a reality. And that's why we're saying
Yes.
we cannot develop in this kind of an illusion. We can only develop on our own realities. What is it that works for us that is our daily realities, our practicality? What is it that we just do, like you say, plant a tomato and it work? I mean, you tell somebody here or a child growing, this is rocket science. How do you just throw seeds and it just grow? So that's our reality. And let's face that fact, own our reality, develop through this reality. Nothing is going to be above us. I trust that. And this is our time. So thank you so much, my queen, for being here. Like I said, we're going to have you again. We're happy that you're already on our expertise pool right now. And yes, and this conversation really tapping back so that we start educating our people before they go back to the continent. We're really working on that, putting up that structure, our organization, I mean, the marginalized organization, which we are going down to the roots of the people, engaging in our young people, just doing those small industrial manufacturing projects, vocational trainings, things that work. Look at a lot of our tellers. Now the designs, who buys them? Because the finishing. So we want to take these skills. Any person, look at our bakeries. Now, who does the baking? But we have the skills in the diaspora, those that have done trainings here and they're good bakers. And we have flour and we have corn. That is our major thing that we don't need. So it's a lot. The intelligence is here. That's why we keep calling on the diaspora. You have a profession in anything, even cleaning. Look at our streets. I mean, come on, come on, I don't want to talk about. Look at our street. What is it that in Africa that we can see the beauty in our environment? So we have work to do, but the work is much easy because we have the vision here with us, and we have the doers also with us. So thank you so much. I want to thank everybody that has watched up to now. I know it's been very tiring. It's almost it's winter here. What about you there, Amma? It's winter. We're freezing.
I don't have that problem. I'm sorry you don't have the heat like I have it here, but I'll send some your way. I'll send some heat. No problem.
I know that. I understand. Understand. No problem. And that's, imagine, that's also one of the things I say, how can we even beat the winter and stay here? When the sun, people of the sun, goddess and princess of the ancestral origins. Yeah. And we beat it and we're here. So we are here on a journey to learn, take it back, what we can take, go back to into our realities, into who we are, into the ways of our
Yes.
ancestors, into the way God created us, gave us the land and resources to feed ourselves. We don't need anything. We just need one another to unite and do the job. So, my dear, we're leaving you. What are you saying to us? Smile, the beautiful smile. You see, I
Thank
see some guys, African Global, Johnny Boy, Coffee, they're already asking, is Amma married? See, she so like. Anyway, that's not my business. My business here was to have this conversation. Yeah, my darling.
Am I supposed to answer those questions?
Choose whatever you want. We put it on the private conversation. We put it on the love and family project programs that are coming up. And I think, yes, we can ask such direct questions. But we want to thank you so much, Amma. And what is the last word? We're going home.
Oh, the last word is thank you so much for having me on here today. I really appreciate the invitation. And I look forward to coming back to speaking on some future topics. Um, and I'm going to continue to push forward here on the continent. And I look forward to many more projects and collaborations and partnerships. And anyone who's thinking about relocating and coming home and coming to the continent, come. You won't regret it. You won't regret it. It'll be the best growing experience you've had in your life. The best growing experience you've had in your life. Definitely. I don't regret it.
The best growing experience you will ever have in your life. Yes. I also agree to that. Yes. So thank you. And tomorrow we're gonna have our next guest on. We want to get the experiencing on. We just say from the diaspora married to the continental. What are the challenges? What is the solution? What is the way forward? And so I'll be happy to have you all again tune in in the family session, and let's digest these conversations. We are now lying at the table and listening, to the few. And yes, what is it that we can add? What is it that we can subtract? How can we empower one another? How can we support this revolution and this reset on the continent? Africans doing it by themselves for Africa in our own way, according to our own traditions, according to our methods. Even if we bring the skills, we're not saying we're going to do the same thing that we learn here, but we just bring into art or to, technologize our traditions to suit us, not even just the world. So thank you for being here. And I hope we are going to see ourselves again tomorrow. I don't even have anybody to close the studio. I think the guys are sleeping already. So, yeah. Okay. I'm telling you. Yes. Mr. T was here and he's here. So thank you so much to Tata for assisting us on the technique tonight. So we see ourselves same time. Good night, queens and kings and princesses and daughters and granddaughters and sons and mothers. All of you that are watching, we all love you and we see ourselves back tomorrow. Amma, thank you so much. And for the connection and the contact, we keep in touch as we keep going ahead forever and never behind. Good night. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
You are watching the Pan African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherlands calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa.